First things first, we're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Christopher Broussard. Hey,
What's up,
Chris.
man?
What's up, man?
Nice to see you.
Great to be here as always.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chris, let's talk some Boston Celtics. When the Celtics saw Kyrie Irving and Al Horford walk out the door this offseason, a plan was put into place. Be in the running to land six-time All-Star Anthony Davis. And when that plan fell through, they moved to Plan B. Be in the running for Kemba Walker and Is Kanter. But if you ask Boston's GM, Danny Ainge, the man, they had their eyes set on Kemba and Kanter since day one. Take a listen.
Our plan A was Kemba Walker and Is Kanter. And we're very fortunate that they chose the Boston Celtics. And very excited about what they bring in many facets of the game, but also as people.
All right, Broussard, look, whether you truly believe that that was Danny Ainge's Plan A, Plan B, Plan J, whatever it was, what do you make of what he had to say up there on the podium?
Look, they don't call him Trader Danny for nothing. He's Trader Danny and does a lot of good deals because he is a good, can I say BS artist?
Yeah, you
right?
just did, yeah.
he said what he's supposed to say.
I prefer just a liar.
Yeah, I mean, he's just lying.
Yeah, which a lot of GM, let's face it, they do publicly, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
Sean Marks, Kyrie Irving, they got a clean slate.
My guy, Daryl Morey, we're bringing back our whole starting five. We're the only team doing it, and Chris Paul's going.
Sam Presti, we're not tanking next year. We're going to be competitive.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So he's not the only one.
No, it's what he was supposed to say. This was probably Plan D.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say Plan A was Kyrie and AD.
Yep.
Okay? I'm going to throw in a Plan B or B that most people might not have thought about. He probably thought about, let me see if we can keep Kyrie, maybe he can convince KD to come. Okay?
Sure.
And then Kyrie and Al Horford was playing C.
Yes, got to
keep Horford, and now
well, then in that case, then Plan D is even once Kyrie leaves, keep Al Horford.
Right.
Even when we all thought Kyrie was leaving, we thought that Al Horford was going to stay.
Right. So this is whatever. Like you said, it might have been Plan J. All right. All that said, though, I think, look, the gap between Al Horford and Is Kanter is bigger than the gap between Kyrie and Kemba.
I agree.
Like, they're going to, as great as Kyrie is, they're going to miss Al Horford more. His professionalism, his defense, he's a smart player. I mean, that's one reason Philly wanted him, because he used to foil Embiid so much in those playoff series. Kemba's not as good as Kyrie, but I think they're better off with Kemba. I think he's going to buy in more to what Brad Stevens is selling. He doesn't, even though he's a star, he doesn't really have that superstar persona that Kyrie has.
And he doesn't have the demands of an all-star or the demands of a superstar off the court.
And that'll be better with Stevens, because Stevens, I think, has some issues handling superstars and those personalities. So I think Kemba will fit in. I think he'll fit in better with the young players. So, look, if they had Horford, I would say they're definitely better. I wonder now, just because they lost Al, but I do like them better with Kemba than Kyrie.
Listen, I think everyone at the table agrees Kyrie's a better player than Kemba, but it's relatively close. And because all the reports trickling out of Boston, and it seems like more are coming, is that Kyrie was even more of a problem within that organization than has been reported. That he was so out on everything, Brad Stevens, young players, Danny Ainge, and he was out before Christmas, is what it seems like, as far as mentally out. It maybe explains, Jenna, the point you kept making all year, which is, how can Kyrie's numbers individually be so good, yet they win so much more without him? That the other guys were relieved when he was not out there, when he was not playing. So I can buy the Kemba at 85% of Kyrie's ability, but 0% of the Kyrie drama is an upgrade. But Is Kanter is not part of anyone's Plan A for anything in the NBA in 2019. Period, point blank. People and Boston fans right now love Is Kanter. Fans always love Is Kanter until he starts playing for your team. And then you're like, oh, he cannot play defensively.
He played some defense in the playoffs last year. You saw a glimpse of what he could do.
He's a good, very good scorer and rebounder.
And a good rebounder.
Defensively,
he played some of the better, to Jenna's point, He's not a great defender. But in the playoffs, Kanter played some of the better defense that he's played. The problem is they got a monster in Philadelphia. Now, unless they're going to move Philadelphia somehow to the West, and they weren't going to ever have to face them, like to be able to get to the finals, I could understand potentially signing him as a guy in the meantime. All right, he's not going to be a main guy, but in the meantime, until I get my guys, I can have some serviceable pros like Kanter on the roster, because Joel Embiid is going to eat him up. Joel Embiid can get whatever numbers that he wants to get. I'm talking about he can have a full belly, he can have a stomach ache, he can have a back spasm. Like, he can get what he wants against Kanter. So thinking that this was the plan A, I just don't make myself go to the press conference and tell that type of lie. I try to put something else around it compared, because Kanter, watch Kanter's eyes twitch when he says,
he knows it.
That's the plan A.
He wants to not lie. Listen,
Kanter's an honest guy.
Absolutely.
I mean, he really
until he starts talking about my man Nick's hair.
No. And he was funny. It was well done by Enes Kanter there. I got no beef with him in that regard. Listen, he is an extraordinary offensive player, and he only plays 24 minutes a game. So, like last year, per 36, he would have been a 21-15 guy. So why doesn't he play 36? Because he might be the worst defensive big in basketball. A half dozen games in the playoffs notwithstanding. But for Boston, listen, Boston, you opted out of trading for Kawhi Leonard because you had a bigger plan in store. You opted out of multiple moves because Anthony Davis was your white whale. Anthony Davis and Kyrie pairing was your ideal pairing. Keeping Tatum if you could. If not, it's fine. We'll keep Horford, Kyrie, Anthony Davis, Al Horford. That is now Kemba Walker, Enes Kanter, Jason Tatum. It's a disaster from what they had hoped for, even if the team can be decent.
It's a disaster because last year you were a conference contender, and this year you're not. I mean, barring major injury, Milwaukee is a level above you. Philadelphia is a level above you. And if Brooklyn gets Kevin Durant back, like we talked yesterday during the season, they're a level up. You have no chance to beat, certainly not Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
But let me throw out this. 2 years ago, you thought Brad Stevens was one of the hottest young coaches in the league. Then he got paired with a guy like Kyrie Irving, who was not buying into his system. We're learning more and more about how anti-Brad Stevens he seemed to be. Yeah, I know you need a superstar in this league, maybe even two. But what if these guys fit the same way this team played so much better when Curry seemingly was out of the lineup? Maybe they fit Brad Stevens' system better.
You need talent.
And
you need a certain degree of talent.
It's nice to have a dress that fits you, but if it's made with polyester, what difference do it make?
That's real.
All right?
That's real.
It ain't the X's and O's, baby. It's the Willies and the Joes. And around the NBA, you need talent. You got a center in Kanter, can't stop anybody. You got Kemba, who has a ceiling. You guys can talk about all that locker room stuff, all that. They got problems there. Brad Stevens is one of the problems because if you can't
think a problem. Can he learn to coach superstars?
Well, we just had a couple stars, all-stars. Al Horford, great.
Well,
great
Horford
leader,
wasn't really as much of a problem, but
why didn't he sign back? Why didn't he sign back with them?
I think because he wanted bigger money long term.
And the other problem, besides the coach not being able to adapt to stars, they got a problem in Gordon Hayward. All right, you talked about the white whale being, you know, they're going to put this.
I left him out.
This dude is not who he used to be. He's not the kid you recruited when you were at Butler when he was a 3-star, and his contract will continue to be a problem because Jaylen Brown and them, they're trying to get a new contract now. Tatum, they're trying to get a new contract. How much is Gordon Hayward making?
What, more than max money? $30 million, more than any of those guys.
Okay, that will be a problem with those younger players who still have goals to try to get them a max contract next.
2 quick points, one on Stevens, one on the Celtics. On Stevens, listen, I maybe got a little too enamored with his sideline out of bounds, with his out of timeouts, with doing more with less, because he is as good X's and O's as anybody in basketball, But to your point about the Willies and the Joes,
the game is not about the X's and O's. The pace is too fast.
It's a personality business, and it's a talent management business. Now, to your point about the Celtics, listen, Celtics gonna make the playoffs. Celtics probably gonna exceed their Vegas total for wins. They're gonna overachieve and get bounced in the first or second round. This is the story of this team since the big three left. They overachieve. You make a deep run with little Isaiah Thomas. You're a good story. But You keep talking about what you will be without ever actually being it. And that's the reality. So they're going to win 46 games, and they're going to have a tough first-round series with the Pacers.
Right.
And we're going to talk about, well, when Jaylen Brown takes that leap again for the 3rd straight year, we'll be talking about that with this team.
You don't like polyester dresses?
No, come on, Jenna. You ain't had a polyester dress in 25 years.
Okay, but still, if I wore one, wouldn't be the worst thing. Broussard, we'll see you later in the
Christine,
show.
put her in one tomorrow.
Yeah, make sure there ain't no fire around you.
Coming up, is Baker Mayfield about to make history in year 2? That's next on First
A
Things
little
First.
cotton, little wool for myself, a little silk if she
A little
can mix
polyester for me.
it. I mean, they talked about the talent they signed. I had to bring